was so much looking forward to having you in Vasa in Finland. So I hope you're all excited as much as we are. Actually, I don't have any PowerPoint slides or anything, so I just thought of sharing several personal experiences with you because I'm myself not Finnish. And my journey with Finland has been very, very interesting. So I think for the first 7 years, I hated the country. And for the next 7 years, I learned loving the country. So after 15 years in Finland, I'm kind of I've seen everything. And sort of, I thought that some reflections, maybe that, some cultural shocks might be interesting to you as you're coming in the country. And of course, you may not be experiencing all of that. But at the same time, this is also something that differentiates Finland. And of course, as you're going to be here, you'll be also sort of having your own experiences, and it will be super exciting to see how much, whatever I told you actually coincides with your impressions about the country and your journey in Finland. And at the same time, how much new or different kind of things you will experience here. So one of the biggest differences, and I know you've had several seminars with ambassadors, so maybe something will repeat, but I really would love to have this interactive. So if you feel that just opening the microphone, asking anything that bothers you, or reflecting on anything that I'm saying, feel free to do that. Okay, cool. So Finland is really unique country. First of all, from the personal. Sort of the way social structure is built. And I think this is something that you will experience in many, many ways. It's a most Nordic country, so it's not a Scandinavian country, it's a Nordic country. It's not a sort of Scandinavian type, and that means a lot. It means that their language is very different, but also the way they structure their community and the relationships is also very different, right? So the way, for example, people build relationships may take a lot of time. And if you have somebody, not talking to you for a while, or being very shy to talk to you, that's also, it's not that they're rude or they don't want to interact with you. This is sort of something that they were giving you space, and sort of it's also very visible in personal relationships and in sort of in the way people communicate. So there was a joke during COVID that Finns were forced to keep 2 meters or 1 meter distance from each other, whereas the regular one is about 3 or 4 meters from each other. So it's sort of a certain type of relationships, and that means that approaching somebody with a small talk and having them not always comfortable or not always responding to you would be totally okay, or sort of not having a lot of chat with people you meet is totally okay. It's not that they're not friendly, but this is because sort of they're going to be focused on some activity. So for example, in the hotel or in the restaurant or somewhere else, they may just smile to you, say hey, but sort of they may not necessarily be having small chats, and that doesn't mean anything about the hospitality. This is just their way of sort of giving the space to each other. Another thing which is really important for the community is really rules, right? Finns really love rules. And when I say Finns love rules, we always say that recommendation is taking, is considered as a rule. So as, let's say, there would be the situation that during the COVID, many countries would issue that, you must wear masks. In Finland, government issued the recommendation that you are recommended to wear a mask. And so Finns would wear a mask everywhere, right? And in a sense, rules are non-negotiable. So if, let's say, there is a rule that in the neighborhood, you have some silent hours, and silence is very, very valued in Finland, right? So typically in the, if you live in an apartment house, silent hours are from 10 p.m. And sort of that would be something really, really very much respected, which means there must be a silence after 10 p.m. If there is a public sauna, so for example, every house, even apartment house has a public sauna in the basement, right? And so sort of there are certain times when you book it, and which means you would come 5 minutes after your time and you would have to leave 5 minutes before the time. So the time is really important in a sense. Being punctual is extremely important. If there are certain rules in the public spaces, like for example, you'll decide to go to here to visit the swimming pool or something, and you know, there are like certain pictograms of what needs to be done and what place and whatever. So sort of there'll be a very big expectation that everyone follows the rule, meaning that things are very sometimes, and that's what it's so hard for a foreigner, as I told you, like 7 years you live here and you kind of so sometimes you feel that the system is so rigid and is so strict and is so like non-human even sometimes, like, come on, we're friends, can't we do exceptions and things like that, right? But this is sort of where you learn that actually relationships are important, but then when everyone keeps the rules and everyone keeps the agreement, it's actually becoming super easy and super quick to arrange everything, to really kind of organize things and so on and so forth. So sort of you will notice that you know, people like here following as it is agreed. And I know that our X culture team really experienced that by us having like, let's arrange this 3 months ahead, let's arrange this 4 months ahead, and things like that, because ideally people plan here and then they plan, sort of keep the plan, and that's sort of how the whole system operates. Another big culture shock for many of you will be that in most restaurants and cafeterias, you won't have a waitress or you know, or sort of a person coming to you to serve you. So it's a very strong self-serving culture, where you know, you're expected to go get your own coffee and get to the table. And once you've done, you're very often expected to get your coffee cup or tea or whatever you've been consuming to a certain place in the restaurant, where it is a sort of where the dishes are placed. And it's not just in canteen. Often, of course, more expensive restaurants, evening dining, that is often served. But then cafeterias, lunch places, any casual sort of places to pop in to have a snack, they will be always self-served. And I know, for example, that in the hotel, we'll have the possibility for you to have some of your breakfast carried to the room, but then the same principle applies, sort of, you know, that there's an idea that even if you're eating your breakfast in your room, then, you know, we bring the dishes back. And so sort of that way, it's not that they're not hospitable or that they're not hospitable, or not that they are not serving. It's sort of the Finnish concept of independence, which is really important, that, you know, I'm self-sufficient, I can do things by myself, and things like that. So that really reflects quite a lot. One more thing that maybe is going to be integrated quite a lot in the program, and hopefully you will see it, is that a lot of things here are considered to be exploratory, right? So less showing, less guiding, but again, the self-sufficiency is a key. So right from the start, right from the opening of the event, we'll have you doing things, right? And you'll have trying things out in different cultural explorations, and that is sort of something where the concept is that let everyone experience the way they would think, you know, things work. So that we tried also bringing to the program, where you can touch, you can smell, you can taste, you can go and see how things work, and that is integrated in their education system, but even at work. So sort of the working culture here is that, you know, you've got a task, and then you're probably not going to get much of guidance. You're on your own, and you're expected to be creative and independent on how you are solving certain tasks. So I don't know. I just thought that these were most relevant elements to the program, and to, you know, something that maybe most visible and most different from the others, other countries and cultures as you arrive at the very start. Because I remember landing in Finland for the first time, and it's like, nobody's opening the doors. It's like it's not polite, or like, especially, we have sometimes this culture where the guy would open the door for the lady or something, and it's like somebody slapped the doors in front of my face, like that's so rude. All right, or no, or you're having a big luggage, and then nobody's helping. It's like, yeah, okay, that's sort of that's a self-sufficiency of Finnish people. And yeah, so in that sense, take it easy and take the experience flow in a way. It may be different, but it has a charm after you learn appreciating it and thinking from their sort of point of mind. And what really helped me to think of Finland is once my friend said, like, every culture has its roots, right? And if you think of Finland 100 years ago, so it's been this Nordic country, all covered in snow for 9 months. And there hasn't been atomic energy, there hasn't been machines, there hasn't been much of trade, only in some, coastal areas, but basically Finns were only limited Vikings. They were not as Swedes or Norwegians or Danes. They were not going all over the world. And so sort of every month survived in this very severe conditions meant that they are sort of, they're fine. So in a sense, this small communal silent environment, half of the year dark, we don't see this anymore. We have lights, we have machines, we have, global warming and whatever, right? But that shaped this culture, which is quite unique on its own. And, after 15 years, I really love Finnish silence, and I can sit 15 minutes with my family next to the table without saying anything. And I really enjoy those silent moments. So, so yeah, we won't train you to have 15 minutes of silence, around the table. Hopefully you're going to have really good chats and really enjoyable conversations. But otherwise, it's really something that yeah, you may just experience a bit and then try to the extent you like it when you're home. All right, so that's a brief one, and I mean I don't want to reveal all the surprises and all the things when you come, but if something really pressing or urgent or something that you would like to ask, and anyone. Feel free to do that, and I'm happy to talk to you about anything that comes as you're preparing to come over here.